Life is an illusion, life is an illusion. Thus says the wise, the one who had everything, who enjoyed everything. The greatest and most powerful king of Israel. He had power, and above all God blessed him with wisdom. A wisdom that conquered and enchanted. Solomon was one of the great writers of the Holy Bible. Solomon is credited with authorship of some Psalms, the Book of Song, also called Song of Song, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. He is also credited with authorship of the deuterocanonical book of Solomon's Wisdom. Each was written at a stage in his life. In her passionate youth, in her adult life maturing, and in her old age without so much attachment to this world. In each of these books we can see the phases of our lives demonstrated there. In singing, we saw the vigor and youth in the words of a passionate man. Teachings of a couple's love life. In this book, lovers express their love and devotion for each other in a passionate and intimate way. It reminds us of youth and the beginning of relationships. Many waters cannot quench love, rivers cannot sweep it away. If one were to give all the wealth of one's house for love, it would be utterly scorned. Song of Songs 8 verse 7. How beautiful you are, my darling. Oh, how beautiful. Your eyes are doves. How handsome you are, my beloved. Oh, how charming. And our bed is verdant. Song of Songs 1 verses 16 to 17. Place me like a seal over your heart, like a seal on your arm, for love is as strong as death, its jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame. Song of Songs 8 verse 6. Already in Proverbs, we see a man maturing. That young man in love begins to reason more, and we see no more declarations of love to his beloved. We see a much more cautious man, something that reminds a lot of our life. When we are young we fall in love very easily, we are very passionate and act without thinking. Emotions are on the surface. Over the years we learn to control these emotions. Solomon shows us in Proverbs that we should act more with reason. We have seen him quote his father, King David, remembering his advice and teachings, things we find to be nonsense when we are young. Here is some very rich advice, emphasized in the first chapter. The Proverbs of Solomon son of David, King of Israel. For gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young, let the wise listen and add to their learning. And let the discerning get guidance, for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. Proverbs 1 verses 1 to 9. These are wonderful and transforming words that should always be taught to young people, which shows exactly what lies ahead in your lives. That the advice and corrections of your parents are for your good and should learn from it. In the following verses it demonstrates the fate of the wicked and of those who walk in their company. My son, if sinful men entice you, do not give in to them. That if they say, come along with us, let's lie in wait for innocent blood, let's ambush some harmless soul, let's swallow them alive, like the grave, and whole, like those who go down to the pit, we will get all sorts of valuable things. And fill our houses with plunder, cast lots with us, we will all share the loot. My son, do not go along with them, do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into evil, they are swift to shed blood. How useless to spread a net where every bird can see it. These men lie in wait for their own blood, they ambush only themselves. Such are the paths of all who go after ill-gotten gain, it takes away the life of those who get it. Proverbs 1 verses 10 to 19. Proverbs is a book of much knowledge, which teaches us to be wise and cautious. Already in the book of Ecclesiastes, we see a man lived, who took advantage and enjoyed life fully, but after youth and his adult phase, reaches old age. That when looking in the mirror, feeling the pains of his body and the difficulties of old age, he starts the book saying, "Everything is meaningless." The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Meaningless. Meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north, round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again, what has been done will be done again, there is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1 verses 1 to 9. Ecclesiastes is one of the most powerful and beautiful books in the Bible. We see here a man already tired, Solomon is now an elder. Find out that none of this land will take with us. He who was a great sage and mighty, the greatest of his time, will have the same fate as fools and small. That both the poor and the rich, wise or foolish, will have the same judgment before the Lord. Then give us a piece of advice. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them, before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds return after the rain, when the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men stoop. When the grinders cease because they are few, and those looking through the windows grow dim. For when the doors to the street are closed and the sound of grinding fades, when people rise up at the sound of birds, but all their songs grow faint, that is of immense depth. Solomon fell in love, matured, conquered riches and wisdom, but at the end of his life he realizes that everything is an illusion. That in everything we should seek to give honor and glory to the Lord. That's what really matters in our lives. At the end of the book he tells us, that after all he lived, he came to a conclusion. Now all has been heard, here is the conclusion of the matter, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Thank you for watching until the end. We hope you learned something about the Bible today. Help us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel and sharing. Until the next video. May the peace of God be with you.